Bungie's new game Marathon is in closed alpha right now, and I was able to get a code, and I've got about 10 hours in the game so far. I wanted to give you guys my opinions and my experiences playing the Marathon closed alpha and what I think of the game. So the most important thing that I think people are going to be talking about and wondering about is the gunplay. I've gotten several questions on my live streams about it, and I think it's important to touch on it right away. When it comes to the gunplay, I think it's good. I think it's great. I think it's serviceable, but I do think they have some things they could work on. If I had to compare it to another game, I would compare it to another Bungie game, and I would compare it to Destiny 2. But the weird thing is I don't think the gameplay is as fluid as Destiny 2. I think the game feels somewhat stiff in terms of just the gunplay strictly. I think it feels stiff, and it's not as good as Destiny 2, but it's in closed alpha. They have time to work on it, but I do think that is something they could improve on. But even so, I think it's good. I think it's very good. But there is improvements that could be made. When it comes to the gameplay loop of Marathon, there's a lot of things that you're able to do. I mean, not only is there gunplay for fighting different NPC enemies and players on the map, there's also looting. There's also the runner abilities, and there's also little puzzles and like mini dungeons, I would say, that you can do on the map. All of these things add to a very like interesting and cohesive gameplay loop that I have not experienced in a game in a long time. I'm not very familiar with extraction shooters. This is my first extraction shooter I've ever played. The game is very good, and it makes me want to play another run even when I get completely doinked and I lose all my stuff. They do a very good job of making you want to play more and get very addicted to wanting to play more. Everything in the game has like a credit value, and the credit value can be used to buy things on the black market and buy different upgrades as well. The guns have credit values, the upgrade chips have credit values, everything has credit values, and you can sell them or keep them in your vault and upgrade yourself, upgrade your loadout, or sell them and get credits to buy things on the black market. The black market right now isn't that good, but it seems like you can buy upgrades for the black market, which is something I'm going to talk about in a second. The looting part of the gameplay loop of Marathon is very important to the entire process. It's how you find better guns. It's how you get better attachments for those guns. It's how you find valuable items that will auto sell after you extract. And that's what adds credits to your wallet that you can use for the black market, etc. You can do all kinds of things while you're looting. You can kill different robots across the maps and take their items. You can solve little dungeons and puzzles to find more rare items. These dungeons and these puzzles aren't the most intricate thing I've ever seen. They are very basic in how they are solved. A lot of them are keycard puzzles where it says, you need a keycard for this. Go find the key, and you have to go find the keycard. There are still some puzzles I haven't solved yet in the game, but the puzzles aren't the most necessary thing, I want to say. I've gone, like I said, several runs without solving certain ones, and I found really good gear, even though I didn't get in those rooms. There are different raid type things, I guess you could say. I don't know if they're raids. We'll call them raids. These raids act as like a third event that can happen on the map, where these UESC robots will come down. They're the NPC robots, and they'll come down in waves to attack you, and when you're done killing them all, you get a like little blue shipment thing that has rare loot in it. Looting is a huge aspect of the game. The looting and the gunplay is obviously massive, but the looting I didn't expect. I know extraction shooters in general are pretty loot heavy, but this game especially is very loot heavy. I'm just not used to it, I think, because of my lack of experience, like when it comes to different ammo types and different attachments for the different guns and what guns they can attach to. I've never experienced something like that. But if you are a fan of extraction shooters, I know that's something that fans of the genre like a lot, so I definitely think, you know, that's good, at least for those people. I don't mind it. It's cool learning all of it. Now that I'm 10 hours in, like I said, I now understand all the different little things now. It took a little bit, but it's not overly bad. I wouldn't say the onboarding is super rough. You figure it out pretty quick, which I think is good. I think it's better than Destiny 2. Destiny's 2 onboarding was awful, so I think already they're out to a great start. That's the main gameplay loop of Marathon. Explore, find the different dungeons, raids, puzzles, whatever you want to classify them as, and loot as much as you can, loot valuable items to sell just for credits, loot upgrade chips for your runner, loot shield chips that give you an extra bar of shield, loot better guns, better attachments, etc., and then just try to extract with the best stuff that you can. That's the basic gameplay loop. But what Marathon does that I like is they add almost mini quests that you can accept. They're actually called contracts, and the way you get contracts is these factions. There's a faction menu on the main title screen. The factions will give you these contracts, and they're like mini quests with objectives, and you do these objectives in your runs. You don't have to get them done in that run necessarily. You can do, like, let's say a contract has 3 parts. You can do the first part in one run, die, do the second and third part in a different run, and then finish the contract. So it's not, you don't have to get it done all in one for some of them. There are certain ones that say extract with this many item on you. And so you have to, those are the tougher ones. Overall, I like that because the gameplay loop in and of itself, like I said, is very good. But adding those contracts adds in a little bit of like flavor, I guess you could say, on top of everything else that kind of changes what you want to do in each run. It makes each run feel different. And I think that that's really important. When it comes to the PvP combat, I feel like the PvP combat is very fast paced. I mean, I think the TTK, the time to kill, I think is very fast. You're getting smoked in here. I mean, if you got the jump on somebody, they're gone. Like, it's just how it is. I don't know if that's common for extraction shooters, but I will say in this case, in Bungie's game, the time to kill is very quick. I can run up on somebody and they don't see me for a split second, they're dead, which is cool, but it's not cool when you get killed. So it's a double-edged sword. When it comes to the runners, because the runners obviously are a major part of the gameplay, the runners add a lot of diversity into what you can do. Even if you play the same runner 3 rounds in a row, it's going to feel different based on how you use that runner's abilities and what your strategy is, etc. The different situations you get yourself in. I think it's a lot of fun because if you become competent with every runner, you have a lot of diversity here. You can get a lot of value out of this game with just switching up who you play, because you have like a tank-like runner that has a shield that you can run in and block bullets. You have the glitch runner, which I would say is just like a rush, fast-paced runner, get in, get out type runner, or just like a rush down type character. You have Blackbird, which is my favorite, who I would say is more like Bloodhound from Apex. You know, they have a little robot that you can toss and it'll track people down and like blow up and stun them. Their ultimate ability is like Bloodhounds, and where you can see people around walls, but not their silhouettes, just like a red dot over their, like where they are, and their footsteps. There's a lot of cool different abilities that you can use. There's the ghost guy, the invisible dude. I mean, he's cool because like you have him on your team, he can throw smoke down, go invisible, and res you. All the runners make the different runs feel fun and unique. And like I said, that gameplay loop, man, it just, the more stuff that you know I talk about, the more you realize how much is in this game, and it's only in alpha. The looks, the graphics of the game, I think the game looks good. The best way I would describe it is Cyberpunk meets like Capsule Core from Dragon Ball. Capsule Core, whatever you want to, however you want to say it. Capsule Core from Dragon Ball. It's got that like that gritty like cyberpunk aesthetic, but it also has the minimalistic like sci-fi aesthetic of Capsule Core. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting combination, but I think it works. I think it's really unique within gaming right now. There's not anything that looks like it, and I think that's what adds to the allure of the game. When it comes to the main issue I have with the game, and it's environmental graphics. The landscape, the dirt, grass, trees look like doo-doo feces. They don't look that good. They need to update those, but I believe somewhere they said that, you know, it's in alpha, so a lot of the textures are unfinished and they have a lot of stuff they still have to work on. While it's the main negative that I do have about the game, it's very hard to get super pissed off and worried about it because they've blatantly said, like, we acknowledge that there's stuff that's not finished. It's in alpha. You guys are playing an alpha build. So not too much you can get pissed off about there. So, you know, visually I like it. Sound wise, I think the music is okay. It's sci-fi music. The audio design though is really nice because you can hear footsteps and you can hear people reloading. There was one game I was in where one of my teammates was the last alive and they were hiding behind a box and waiting for the enemy team to leave so they could res us all. They reloaded their gun behind the box. and the enemy heard it and hopped over the box and shot them. There's a lot of cool little audio cues and audio design. There's these birds that are on the map. Like when you walk by them, they'll freak out and like start screaming and flying up in the air. And if you're a different team, you'll hear that and you can turn and see where the birds are coming up from, and you'll know where a team is. So if you're paying attention, it's really cool. That's really cool. I think they did a good job with the sound design. Something I forgot to talk about when it comes to the gameplay is the maps. There's 2 maps right now. They're not that different. The like dungeons / puzzles / raids are the exact same. They're very similar in every way. Obviously the buildings look different, but there's not too much gameplay variety between the 2 different maps. Very, very similar. Same amount of close quarter and long range spaces. Not too much diversity there. I think that it's still fun, but I just hope that in the future, when it comes to the maps, they add more variety. More like, oh, this map is strictly close quarters, all indoors, or this map is strictly long range outdoors, and make it, more varied. The last thing I want to talk about, which I think, not a lot of people care about, but I do, is the story of the universe that you are in. I think the story is very interesting. You learn that the planet that you're on, Tau Ceti, was a like colonized, like a colony planet, where the ship called the UESC Marathon crashed, and the colony is just gone. Everybody's gone, and you're salvaging the remnants of the colony for money. That's what the runners are doing. The UESC is like an automated like system that patrols the planets, I guess, and that's those robots that you're killing in the game on the maps. When it comes to the factions play a key role in teaching you more about the world that you're in. They'll tell you different events that have happened in the universe, different key events, different facts about the world, what the shells for the runners are made out of, all kinds of different things. And each faction has different objectives that they're trying to get done in the world. So when you're doing these contracts, you'll learn more and more and more about the world. So not only are you getting, a tangible gameplay reward for doing them, you'll also get a lower reward as well if you care about that. I think that the game has a lot to offer here for people that are in love with Bungie's gameplay, love their shooting, love extraction shooters, love the lore of Destiny. It's not the same lore. I want to specify, it's not the same lore, but if you love the same care for the universe that Destiny had, Bungie cares about the Marathon universe just as much, and they're putting in tons of effort to making it very interesting, and I think more on-board friendly, more newcomer friendly. And I think that that's important. I think that they're going to find good success with Marathon, and I think it's going to be a good time to see what they're capable of, because right now Bungie's in deep crap. I mean, they have not offered PlayStation anything of value, so we need to hope that Marathon is a good game. I hope it's a good game for Bungie's sake, not only as a consumer that likes games, but as somebody that likes Bungie as a studio. I want to see them succeed, and I hope for their sake and ours that the game's good and we can see continuous updates. I'm curious what the price point's going to be for the game, because it's not going to be free to play. I'm curious what the live service model is going to be, what they do to bring cash influx into the game and make them long-term money. I'm curious to see the story continue and see what they do and what new runners they add. And yeah, I'm very excited for Marathon. And my overall opinion is that Bungie did a great job. I think the gunplay is excellent. The looting is fun. Exploring the maps are fun. The gameplay experience, the gameplay loop overall is just amazing. And I think that they have something huge on their hands. I think that they have a great game that's going to introduce casuals to extraction shooters and make it bigger than it ever has been before. That is my opinion on Marathon. That is my prediction for Marathon. My opinion, just to recap, is that Bungie has something big on their hands. I think that this is a good way to introduce newcomers to extraction shooters. I think that the gameplay is fun, the looting's fun, exploring's fun. I think everything about this game is great. They have a few things to improve on, but my opinion overall is if you can get into this alpha. If you can sign up for this alpha, sign up, get in, try to get in. If you can't get in, watch streams about it, learn more about the game. I think that this is going to be a big game to follow, and that is my opinion. My opinion as a player is that it's great. My opinion on its future is that it's bright, and I think that everybody should keep their eyes on this game. And I think as long as Sony doesn't charge $70 for it, I think that this game has a bright future. So that is my opinion on Marathon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.